What's going on, YouTube? It's Big Brother 749 coming back at you with another video. Before I even get started, I just want to make one thing clear. When I talk about the need for more people to speak out against Trump and his policies, I'm not talking about the countless of white individuals who are already protesting and fighting for what is right. I'm not talking about the ones who are just as disgusted by his rhetoric and his actions as I am. I'm not talking about all white people, but only addressing a specific group who either voted for Trump and love him no matter what, or they're just on the fence. And this is not a general statement. I'm not here to generalize or alienate anyone. This video is aimed at encouraging a broader and louder condemnation of what's happening, and that includes more voices from every background. And I just thought that I put that out there. But anyway, as we all know, there was the No Kings protests that went on nationwide all across the U.S. on Saturday. And there had already been protests and riots going on prior to that in L.A. with the anti-ICE protests last week. And while the No Kings protests started partly because of those federal immigration raids, including the ones by ICE, it really grew into something way bigger. It wasn't just about that. It was about people saying no to governments and leaders using force, threats, or intimidation to get people to do what they want rather than relying on laws, open discussion, and popular support. It's just generally being against Trump's whole way of doing things. You know, people wanted to protect their democracy and civil rights, and they were getting tired of that whole billionaires first kind of politics. And it was really something to see the No Kings protests standing up to it all, especially with so many white folks out there. And honestly, that's crucial because we've seen black communities and other marginalized groups protesting Trump's policies for years. And while their voices matter, the truth is that it often gets dismissed by a certain segment of the population because they'll say, oh, it's just them protesting again. And sadly, it doesn't always break through. But when you have a significant number of white people, particularly those who might have even voted for Trump in the past, you know, who are out there on the streets saying no kings and this ain't what America's all about, that carries a different kind of weight. It forces a different conversation. And I believe it'll make more impact if more white folks start speaking up. Just like with racism, when white people call each other out on racism among their own friends and family, that's really powerful right there because it shows how important it is for people to hold each other accountable. And with these type of folks who don't directly experience racism, can actually make a huge difference in stopping it. Because when you challenge prejudice with people you know, it could really start to change what's considered normal. And that could sometimes have an even bigger impact than when only people of color speak up. And there were minorities speaking up in that protest. You know, they were sprinkled in there in that large crowd, like Mexicans and other foreigners and immigrants. And there were a few blacks out there, too, protesting. But this ain't new to us because we've been protesting for 400 years. We've already marched and we got, you know, a little bit of progress. I mean, we've been on Washington, D.C., the Million Man March, and we'll do it again if we have to. But white folks, like I said, it's going to take them to get mad to do something. And that's why Trump is doing what he's doing, because he got a lot of them fooled. And it's like, come on, white folks, y'all going to let this one man ruin the damn country? And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about all, because as we've seen from that No Kings protest on Saturday, there are whites who do get it. There are many who do know what's going on. And there were white folks getting mad, and that's all you saw out there was white folks. Because Trump's corruption has been exposed, and that protest wasn't just all about getting folks hyped up and energized, but about reaching those voters, the ones who might be starting to question if they made the right choice, or the ones who are now, you know, just now waking up to the BS. Because there were millions of folks protesting nationwide, like New York, Chicago, Denver, Philadelphia, chanting and holding up prohibited signs of Trump wearing a Burger King crown on his head. And when I saw all this going on in every city in the nation, it made me wonder, well, Where was y'all at during the 2024 presidential election? Because honestly, deep down, I truly believe Trump cheated for some reason. I don't know what the hell happened. It was strange because how in the hell did he win all the swing states? I mean, everybody knew he was facing jail time, and how did he just became so popular after all the shit that he done? Now he's doing this shit some more, and it's like y'all knew who the hell he was. Because I mean, deep down, I really do think Trump cheated. But even if he didn't cheat, and he just got back in the office with a ton of white votes, then those very same voters, or at least a big chunk of them, are now showing something huge. And it sends a powerful message that says, hey, this ain't just about Republicans versus Democrats anymore. This is about basic American values. It makes it way harder for anyone to just brush it off as some radical or fringe thing. It actually shows a bigger, more diverse group of people who are truly worried about where the country is headed. And in an election year, that could definitely be the game changer that we need. And like I said, it was good that this went on. And these next 4 years of Trump are actually needed because it gives his supporters more time to see who he really is. Because I do believe, there were some former Trump supporters who were out there protesting Saturday because his policies started to affect them. And I spoke to my mom about this Sunday about the No Kings protesters. I was over at my parents' house to see my dad for Father's Day, and me and him were watching MSNBC talking about it. And then I go in the kitchen to talk to my mom, and I'm joking around, playing with her, asking her, hey, how come you didn't go out there and protest yesterday? And she said, nah, they on their own. That's what they voted for, and now they're regretting it. And she was right. And, they got what they voted for, and it ain't just the everyday policies. It's the whole spectacle of it all, like the military parade Trump had while the No Kings protesters was going on. And the only thing tremendous about Trump's parade was the amount of empty space. I mean, there were military elements present, but the crowd attendance was lower than what the administration had stated. And the whole thing just felt empty of relevance or any real meaning. It was expensive, self-centered, and it just wasn't what America's all about. Because honestly, a military parade, that right there, it just didn't feel like a democracy. It seems more like, about stroking Trump's ego and projecting power than actually honoring our troops. Our military deserves proper funding and respect, not to be used as a prop in a political spectacle. It's a waste of taxpayers' money that could have been spent on veterans' health care, education, or infrastructure. Plus, it sends off the wrong message to the world about our priorities. I mean, it just made our military look political, and it wasn't supposed to be like that. They serve the country, not one person. And, this whole parade just seemed like it was all about Trump and not about the military itself. And I mean, coincidentally, Trump's birthday and Flags Day is on the same day, June 14th. But I saw the parade. I was watching the parade on TV where they showed these guys dressed up like soldiers from the old American Revolution. And me and my dad was watching it, and he was like, "Oh, look at that! Yeah, they didn't have Negroes in that back then. That's false advertisement." And I know some other blacks kind of think that too, but trust me, black men were part of that whole American Revolution thing, both free and enslaved. They fought, and some joined the Americans, hoping to get their freedom or just for their service, while others were even promised freedom by the British if they joined them. And this whole thing about people from different backgrounds coming together for one big goal, back then, that's a huge difference from all the yelling and fighting we seeing and hearing today. Because we got to remember, it's super important for everybody, no matter where they from, to stand up for the basic rules of our democracy. Because see, when you got white people, black people, brown people, and everyone else out there protesting something like that, like that parade and Trump's policies, it just shouts, that this ain't about which group you belong to. It's about protecting the main ideals of democracy that we're supposed to believe in. It's one thing to see the usual anti-Trumpers out there protesting, and good for them. They're doing important work. But what really makes a difference is when you see white folks, especially the ones who voted for Trump before, out there with signs marching against them. And that tells you right there that this ain't just about Democrats versus Republicans anymore. It's about something way deeper than that, something fundamental, about who we are as a country. Because when people from all walks of life, regardless of their background, start saying enough is enough, that's when you know things are starting to change. And I believe that change is coming for sure. But that's all I want to say, folks. This is Big Brother 749 signing out. I'm out. Peace.